We were not idle when we were with you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it. But with toil and labor, we worked day and night, that we might not be a burden to any of you. It is Saturday, the 23rd day of July, 2022, and it is time for the reading of our devotional thought for today. Today's devotional thought is entitled, God Will Meet Our Needs. Once again, God will meet our needs. And the verses today, 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 7 and 8, and it reads, We were not idle when we were with you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it. But with toil and labor, we worked day and night, that we might not be a burden to any of you. That's 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. Alistair Begg writes, Depending on God does not conflict with working to earn our daily bread. Indeed, work and the ability to do it are part of God's provision. If we doubt that, we should consider the fact that Jesus himself worked. Even though he came from heaven and all things belong to him, he labored as a carpenter for years, confirming the pattern that was laid out for humanity in Genesis, and that's Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Similarly, the apostles, living by faith and wholeheartedly pursuing the growth of the church, worked diligently night and day. They refused to be lazy or to eat anyone's food without paying. As ministers of the gospel, they did not have the right to ask for help with provisions. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verses 17 and 18. However, they took responsibility for themselves and practiced a trade they knew, serving as examples to imitate. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 9. In the midst of our own labors, we must recognize that we can abuse work in at least two ways, through either laziness or overactivity. The warning of Proverbs apply to us. The sluggard does not plow in the autumn. He will seek to harvest and have nothing. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 4. Or, as Paul puts it, we must not be idle, but we must pay equally careful attention to the psalmist's word when he says, It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil. That's Psalms 127, verse 2. Yes, we are to labor with our hands. If we aren't working for God's glory, though, we are left toiling at a feverish pace, yet in vain. Nowhere is this more apparent than when we ignore the Sabbath principle. Nothing so reveals our unwillingness to take God at His word and to trust Him for daily provision as when we abuse the command to work 6 days and rest for one. Deuteronomy 5, verses 12 through 15. Why do you think we need to work all day, every day? The answer is, quite frankly, because we struggle to trust that God will meet our needs. We must find our security not in our work, but in the God who provides both the work and the means to carry it out. In our materialistic culture, it is not easy to work faithfully while learning to be satisfied with God-given lot. Take a moment to reflect on your own work, be it in the home, the field, the factory, or the office. In what ways are you tempted towards laziness? In what ways towards overactivity? What will it look like for you to work hard and trust God? In a world ensnared by materialism, your contentment in your work and in God's provision will be a compelling testimony to the divine love that alone provides true satisfaction. And that concludes the reading of our devotional thought for today. God will meet our needs. And the scripture verse, 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 7 through 8. And for those of you reading through the scriptures, your assignment today is Psalms 33 and 34, as well as the book of Acts chapter 16, verses 22 through 40. Clive Walsh here, asking God's richest blessings upon you today.